The great scholar, saint, Sri Madhusudan Saraswati, in the lineage of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, has in the Gita Jnana very beautifully called Gita as mother. Ambatvam anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini, has called Gita as mother. And as you know, that our mothers, as gentle, as loving, as kind they are, in an instant she can turn into Kali, is it not? Not towards you, but towards anyone who is going to harm you. Anyone who is going to cause sorrow to you. Bhagavad Gita starts with Krishna's words, Asochananva sochastvam pragyavadashcha bhashyase gatasuna gatasuncha nanu shochanti pandita. He says that you have grieved for that which you should have not grieved for. For the wise one, do not grieve for those who are gone and those who are not yet gone. Two varieties of people, right? कोई चला गया, कोई जाए, कोई गटरी बांध सिधाए. Kabirdas ji has said, no? There are only two varieties, those who are gone and those who are not yet gone. And yet you speak words of wisdom, which means wise do not grieve. And Bhagavad Gita ends with also Krishna's words, Ma Sucha. Do not grieve. Therefore it is said Bhagavad Gita is like mother who cannot bear a tear in the eyes of her children. And for that, she is ever ready to destroy anything that causes sorrow to her child. And yet people think, why study the Bhagavad Gita? From start to end. Like a mother, she only brings to us the means for happiness and ever ready to destroy our sorrow instantly. Mother cannot wait even a second and say that, I'm trying to look out for practical solutions or medications to remove your sorrow, which will take about 2 years. Doctor can say that, not a mother. She is bhavadveshini. This constant world of change, uncertainty, in which we live in constant anxiety, stress, fear, she can become the terrible Kali to destroy your sorrows. And the cause of our sorrows we blame to the world outside. But we don't realize that the cause of our sorrow is our own ignorance and ignorance-born delusion. When we study the entire Bhagavad Gita, which is about 700 verses, actually the knowledge of the Gita is very simple. Our minds have become so complicated, so polluted, that to understand those simple truth of life becomes so difficult for us. When my grandmother used to say with her pure heart these simple truths, I did not require logic or some deep explanation because it is self-evident. Do it now and you will see the result. It's those only who study as, scholarships or to, get degrees on it, they don't understand. The moment, that second, just like a mother, the moment she sees tears, she will remove it immediately. I don't know, all of you sitting here, mothers means even fathers, don't think that, we cannot dare, we'll do anything or anybody who would come to harm us. Though for our mother, we don't do anything. We allow people to criticize her. But mother will not be able for even a second to bear the guilt. And I'm sure you all have experienced it as mothers or even as children. I don't know about you, but I have. My mother, who rarely has even scolded us or beat us, and not that she's some, docile woman of great substance. I remember once I was just coming from my building and one 6-footer came accusing me for something that I had never done in my life, and till today I have never done, that I use some foul words on their family member. And I have never done that. I don't even repeat. If somebody says a bad word, we would not even go, we were taught not even to repeat that word. And he was shouting at me, looming over me, this 6-footer, and I was just a little boy, barely, 10 years old, 12 years old. And he was looming over me, shouting away, accusing me of something that I have never done and would never do. I was myself stunned at that time. But you know how in Bombay the buildings are there all close to each other. And somebody must have told my mother that it is your son who is being scolded. She heard the scolding and the shouting that was going on. She just called out, "Come up immediately." Her call, and I just left from there, straight ran up the steps, and the moment I reached the landing of our floor, she was standing there. It must have been the day she had washed her hair. Normally she doesn't even come out of the, from the house without, those days they never wore nighties and gowns. But she was in the gown at that time. Her hair was open, washed. The moment she saw my tear, and till then I didn't cry, because I know I had not done anything wrong. But the fact that the moment you see your mother, and that I was blamed for something that I had never done, would never do, I just burst out crying in a second. Like that, any mother, even for wrong reasons, is ready to fight with everybody. That's her mother. At that moment, I think, thank God she had come from the bathroom and not from the kitchen. Otherwise, she would have. And the way she dashed down, moment she saw my tear, she just held me, she made me sit there, and screaming she went down, and the way she banged the door of that fellow, if I tell you from where he was, you will understand. And I could hear him squirming away. Such a mother, if we don't go into her shelter to regain our state of natural health, natural peace, natural happiness. In Sanskrit, health is called as swasthya, which means, which is the cliche these days, being yourself, being your natural state is health. Today, health, everybody is struggling for health, is it? As though it's a goal to be reached, a most difficult goal to be achieved, even to lose 2 pounds. And there are some who can't even gain 2 pounds. Swasthya itself means that which is your natural state. Health is our natural state, and how unnatural must be our living today, that physical health, mental well-being, and our spiritual happiness, our spiritual health is so lacking that we are constantly struggling, and in our struggles we are only creating more and more unnatural behavior, unnatural lifestyle, and we all want peace. But as a result of that, what are we doing? Struggling. The moment you struggle, peace is lost. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching us to regain our health, which is our natural state. Physical, mental includes intellectual also, and spiritual. And these 3 days, we will take some very pertinent portions of the Bhagavad Gita so that we can put it into practice here and now. Today, with all that, how our mindset has been created, and that goes into every field, whether it is religion, whether it is medicine, whether it is health, whether it is psychology, we are not able to understand the holistic approach of our Indian knowledge system. And with our linear thinking, if we try to look into it, like we are taught to only find fault and believe, and don't tell me that there is anything logical or clinically proven. Indian knowledge system is neither of blind belief nor of just thinking at one level. Today you see, you even go into medicine, everybody is talking about it. But when you see, if you go, let's put it in simple word, what is specialization? What is specialization?
Going deep in one thing.
More and more about less and less.
More and more of less and less. For your heart, you have to go to a heart surgeon. Things are changing. Nobody says it's not. No? Heart surgeon will give you to go to and take a scan and the dye, which your kidney goes away. Then you have to go to a kidney person. Our body is one whole. We are one whole personality. As a society, we are one whole body of the entire universe. You cannot move a grain of sand without affecting the universe. And that knowledge of the microcosm and the macrocosm. I'm giving these few hints to know that from what vastness does our knowledge system come from. And today we are not even able to understand intellectually what is the depth of these books of knowledge, which was really part of our cultural living. And we had seen our grandparents live it. Some of you have not seen it. Therefore, you do not know the truth of it. How to live a happy life. Gita says, even in the midst of the pairs of opposites, how you can live such a balanced life. Now, at this moment you talk about health, we first think about our physical body and physical health, is it not? And as you are growing older and older, it's becoming more and more a priority to you, is it not? In fact, if you have the conversation of older people, they will be only talking about weight, blood pressure, diabetes. How many angioplasties you have? Yeah, you can get your degrees on angioplasties. Isn't it? So if you see that physical health is important and our knowledge system. I'm using the word knowledge system because in India neither culture, nor religion, nor health, nor medicine, nor prudence, nor politics, nothing was separate from each other because everything goes to make our holistic personality. This is something very important. We have to bring that mindset. Otherwise, with the present mindset, we can only find faults and criticisms. Because we are made to think only in a particular manner. That freedom of directly experiencing the truth I'm not even talking about the absolute truth of things. Through just calm observation. Therefore, even in such a book like the Bhagavad Gita or even the Upanishads, neither your physical body is to be neglected, certainly not your mind, not even your prosperity should be neglected if you study Taittiriya Upanishad. And mind you, Bhagavad Gita is given in the middle of the battlefield to Arjuna. Some think it's only a scripture of battle, some say it's only a scripture of politics, some say it is only a book of spirituality. That is because of our limited thinking. It is knowledge of you as a whole, integrated with the society as a whole. So even in the Bhagavad Gita, let's start first with the physical body. Gurudev's BMI chart, if you have seen, the three equipments pointed out: body, mind and intellect. These are our equipments. And even though the senses are in the subtle body, but sense organs we see in the physical body. So body, senses, mind, intellect, these are the equipments that we have. Whether we live pursuing our material goals or even fulfilling our needs for survival, this body through which we perceive the world and we interact with the world, we act in the world, to bring about productivity or even earn our, why should we keep saying bread and butter? That's so Indian. And what is bread and butter? To even an animal to even get its food, it has to do some action to survive. And action is unavoidable as long as you live. The day you become inactive, everybody else has to become active. Ram Nam Satya. Is it not? So even to survive or be productive or even serve the humanity, be productive for yourself and for the society, you need to act. And this body is the equipment through which we do the action. And therefore, the ability, the strength, the health of this body is essential for us even to be productive in this world. Even materially productive, even to survive, importance is the health of the body. And health is not an unnatural state, it is our natural state which is called as swastha or health. Your physical health is not only necessary for you to survive and to be productive in the world, And especially if you want to achieve higher and greater productivity and greater things in life, not only you need good health physically, but your body and mind is also connected. Your physical health determines your mental condition or not. If you've got fever, if you've got weakness, if you've got arthritis, will it not affect you? And most of us, we may not have any other disease, but chronic fatigue is there. It's not a special disease. All the time procrastinating, sleepy, lazy. Only when it's party time, no? Then we are. Some say I've got acidity, some have got blood pressure, some have got this. All these health issues that we have, it affects our mind. Correct your actions, intake and output at the physical level, to a great extent your mental problems will also come to an end. Now, I don't want to go on giving proof, but what is taking these pills? It is also some chemicals or food you take, isn't it? Even in the Bhagavad Gita it's hinted, the science of Ayurveda of course is elaborating on it. But your body, which is made up of food, which is called as Annamaya Kosha. It is made up of food that your parents ate even while you were in the womb. And it continues till the day it dies, eat or eat, and sleep or sleep. It continues. Is it or is it not? It constantly continues just eating. And since food goes to make up this body, and what is this body meant for? If not to act, what is this body meant for? It is meant for action. And human body is further meant not for action, but intelligent action with a purpose, and therefore it is meant for work. There's a difference between just mere Gurudev would demonstrate. If there's no purpose behind it, loco loco. Even I know Spanish, so don't worry. Now, importance of health I don't want to say, but the connection between your body and your mind, your productivity and your ability. In fact, each one of us, even whom you might call as disabled, today we learn to call them differently abled. Each one of us has been given an equipment capable to fulfill our destiny. When we hear about Hanuman and then we say it's a myth and all that, because we do not understand what is the highest limit of our physical ability. Mental, so we do not even use a fraction of it. And the sooner we give this knowledge to our children, youth, and the earlier we get it in our life with the right perspective. Can you imagine our rishis were the ones that prevention is better than finding a cure. And cure is not dumping in medicines. Sometimes they are required. Now, Shankaracharya has called in Sadhana Panchakam Bhiksha Aushadhi. That food is medicine. The whole science of Ayurveda, it is all herbs, etc. Food alone is medicine, not chemicals. And whatever minerals, etc. you require must come from food. After having ruined the entire ecology in the last 100 years, now we are talking about organic farming, organic this, and selling it at a higher price that people cannot afford, and only some elite who destroy more of nature. We have to see this whole thing holistic. But with what we have to understand. Okay? So, this body, its full potential can be experienced when this body is healthy. In Bhagavad Gita, in the chapter of meditation, Krishna says, Yukta Ahara Vihara and Swapna. To be balanced in Ahara, what we consume, Vihara, rest, as well as our interaction with the world. To be balanced in our action and our rest. So in our action, and Swapna means also sleep. There's another deeper meaning which I will conclude on the last day. That one who is balanced in one's intake, one who is balanced in one's action, expression in the world outside, and one who is balanced in sleep and rest. For them, meditation in a higher sense, is abidance in your true nature, your own nature, which is infinite bliss, happiness. For such a person, meditation is natural, spontaneous, easy. But for those who are not balanced in their food, in their action, there are many people, I'm a workaholic. Any holic is bad. And there are others who are very proud that they are alcoholic because they are only party drinkers. The fact that you cannot stay without a drink, you are already an alcoholic. And don't say, 3 days I went for a spiritual camp, I did not drink. Or 3 days you were in the hospital, they did not give you a drink. Moderation, Krishna said, no moderation, that's why I didn't use the word moderation. But the balance, a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of coconut water. Balance. That is not what is here understand as balance or moderation. Balance in your food, your intake. And intake, mind you, is not just the physical food that you eat. It is not just the physical food that you eat. You eat with your eyes, forms and colors. With your ears, you eat sound. With your eyes, you eat forms, as I said. With your tongue, you eat taste or food. Now, for those of you into fancy cosmetics, don't put on your skin what you cannot eat. What's the latest? From which shop it is? You don't know those cosmetics? Oh, still you're using all those. Your biggest organ of your body is your skin. Do you know how many meters it extends to? And when Ayurveda would give you oils and herbs to be applied on the body, this Ayurveda is not clinically tested. This is just superstition. It's placebo effect. How can oil remove your arthritis? Now when they want to sell cosmetics, they will make publicity of that guy eating the lipstick. Obviously what you're putting on your lips, if you put toxin on your lips, what are you going to be consuming? Is it not? What we apply on our skin. Today we do not even know how to use those natural products, all of us. And now we are talking about natural products, so they will add a few Ayurvedic natural products in all unnatural ingredients and write natural. Actually, everything comes from nature, including minerals come from nature, including oil comes from nature. Is it not? I'm not criticizing that, I'm just trying to say that how we have created by consuming and living a very unnatural lifestyle. Now, whatever said and done today, our environment is polluted, our consumption is polluted, what we see, etc. is polluted. But don't blame the world, for we have created such a world. But in spite of that, the best is available even today by God's grace. The choice is ours. Our rishis never said shut down your senses or go on an eternal fast. In fact, it clearly says that those who keep on fasting and those who keep on eating, for them peace of mind is not possible. The natural state of peace, and peace is our natural state. Whenever anything gets disturbed, whether physically, emotionally, intellectually, or in the society, when there is a disturbance, when the disturbance ends, there is peace. So health is our natural condition. Now, as far as animals are concerned, they go through their natural cycle till human beings have destroyed their natural habitat and made them pets. Animals can eat only that food which is natural to them. But human beings, because we got the intellect, because we could discover how to work with fire, we can have any type of food that is made conducive to us to digest. Therefore, first starting with what we consume are given in general. If you have time, you will go into that also. But our Rishi says not to shut down our senses or go on an eternal fast, or to stay away from the world and reject the world, or be bitter about the world and its happenings, but rather Badram Karnevi Shunyama Devaha Badram Pashemakshavidya Jatra Stirairangais Dushtuvagam Sastanuvi Vyashema Devahitam Yadai. Look at the prayer, the Shanti parts we chant. Look at the glory of it. We only taught this to our children with a little knowledge. Today they have to be translated. Nobody could pollute their minds. Badram Karnevi Shrunyamadeva. Let us hear that which will bring Badram, auspiciousness, to our mind. And what is auspiciousness? That which brings peace, happiness, well-being. Today the word is well-being. It brings us back to our natural state. Nowadays our natural state is what? Anger. Anger about everybody, including one's own self. That which brings us back to our natural state, may we listen to that. And even if we are listening to something, we have been given an intellect to filter it. Therefore, we must have the knowledge to filter what we hear, what we see. At the same time, we've got our emotions. And if these emotions are with the right virtues, then what we hear gets filtered, and what we digest or keep within ourselves is also that which is auspicious. Now, as far as this physical body is made up of all these sense stimuli, let me tell you, but the predominance is food. Therefore, how much we eat, when we eat, and what we eat, and with what mental attitude we eat is essential for our physical good health. Only in extreme cases you require, really speaking, medication. And medication is also food, mind you. Most of our present day diseases, today, thank God, even our illiterate, and don't call them uneducated, I know one of our, just now during Corona time, suddenly because of Corona got a test and realized that it was highly diabetic. It's also available on the internet. Of course, there's a lot available on the internet, I won't say. But for years, when I should tell him, this is the food I can eat, don't overdo it, don't overdo this, don't overdo that. Because we think that, putting a lot of food on the plate and all that. He's investigated and brought down his diabetes in 3 months without any medication. That knowledge is also available on our internet. And all we have to do is stop eating what is harming us, not stop eating food. In fact, so much is being bombarded to our mind There are times people become anorexic because why? Fear of eating food and all for putting on weight. You don't even understand what is the principle of weight at a certain age. In the 50s, don't expect to have weight of a 16-year-old. You'll be sick. All these notions that have been bombarded into our mind, that even the so-called health diets that we are, which becomes a fad, only cause ill health to us. And today there are documentaries laughing from America on your cereals, in everything, demonstrated on the screen. Yet, those kind of foods we still do not give up. In Bhagavad Gita, even in the 4th chapter, where Bhagwan is pointing out the various sadhanas as yajna, where he gives all the different forms of yajna. And yajna is not just sitting in front of the fire and making offering, even that is a yajna. Don't reject that. Doing puja is also a yajna, and I will show you how all is integrated in our puja. How we can make even our breathing, our actions, our day-to-day actions, and even the consumption of our food to purify our mind. Purify our mind. Because it is the subtle aspect of your food that goes to make up your mind. And therefore, in the later chapter, Bhagwan is talking about what is the food that sattvic people will eat, that rajasic people will eat, that tamasic people will eat, which means that makes it conducive for sattva, that is peace, calmness, alertness and intelligence of the mind. Reading books, having degrees, making studies, even spiritual studies, does not make you intelligent. By merely reading and gathering information or learning certain languages does not make you intelligent. It is a means to gain knowledge. But the intelligence, how it comes, that we will see tomorrow in the mental well-being. That which in the Gayatri Mantra says, Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Such sciences are there. And we are too busy just criticizing irrelevant things, outdated things. And the whole process is that you lose your great heritage. And soon you will not be able to even understand it, because your mind has learned to only reject it. In Bhagavad Gita, in 3 places Bhagwan speaks about how food is purified. When I was a teenager, I had come across a course from Japan, microbiotics, they would call it. Not microbiotics. Of course, they were marketing that course. And they were also talking about the balance of yin and yang, and how that only through food you can enhance your mind. And this is not that it is unknown. But when our Ayurveda says it, when they do not want the popularity of Ayurveda, they will go on criticize it. Ayurveda and such sciences talk about balance. There is no one medicine, no one particular diet for everybody. And I'll give you examples of that. Quinoa is a good grain, but not for everybody, please. Give up dairy, 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 then eat soya, 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 and everything soya, 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 or so there's some. Now everywhere you have to read non-soya, non-soya, non-soya. Then 10 years ago, what were they telling? Is that what you call as science? Or that which has been tested from time immemorial? All ancient sciences in every culture of the world, in fact in every nation which was destroyed, has spoken about a balanced diet, a natural diet. And even when we start eating food which is not natural to us, but by cooking it, you create it to be natural for your human consumption. And you create a balance for it. Now first, to start off with, when to eat, how much to eat. First you must know that. Even a good meal, if it is overeaten, it is going to be harmful. Because we think, they say, doctors will say that, a little bit of red wine, little bit. Now how much is little? Is good for your heart. I found out from the Ayurvedic doctor, it is not the alcohol, it is the red grapes ripened in the sun. That is the best antioxidant. So they are not completely wrong. But that can be consumed as arishtam with a slight fermentation with no alcohol, and that is the best antioxidant. And when Ayurveda was giving it, free of charge. No. Californian red wine. Drink. What are the doctors even today telling? Nature is your best medicine. And in nature, recognize one thing. Wherever there is, say, an imbalance in your body because of, say, climatic condition, in that climate only you will get the food that balances your system. I'm sure from childhood you would have heard the mango season comes in the month of summer, and they say the moment the rains come, you shouldn't be eating mangoes. Have you heard that from childhood? Not children who grew up here because mangoes are available throughout the season. Yeah, because of globalization, oh, see the advancement, you can get mangoes. Eat mangoes in rainy season, and in winter you will be harming yourself. Eat melons. Melons are eaten after the winter season. Naturally, nature brings these fruits. Animals live by nature. Human beings can produce anything today and eat. We don't understand what these great wisdoms said. In one of our old books, it is said that man must not travel outside his or her district. And when I heard it, I who had from childhood been traveling and all that, that come on, this is old-fashioned. With the Spanish flu, with the Japanese flu, today with the pandemic, you realize what we have done? even health-wise. Invasions, destructions of culture, destructions of knowledge systems. When they said it, they had something else in their mind, a larger vision. And now, why are we, none of you really speaking, occasionally might eat, say, some fast food, etc. And please don't call any food as junk food. Food is not junk. We make our stomach into a junkyard. And you go to a junkyard, you'll find many good things there also. So, when we eat and how much we eat. First, I will briefly say that, so that even if we are eating something which is not natural for us, even if we can moderate its quantity, its harm will be less. And then I'll tell you something amazing of this body. First of all, again in the Gita, Bhagavan says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashitaha Pranapana Sama Yuktam Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. These are all from the Gita. That I am that digestive fire, and what does this digestive fire do? And as that digestive fire, that prana consumption and apana, excretion and expression, keeping it balanced. You go on eating, and if you are constipated, do you know what will happen? Even mentally. Or you cannot eat anything and you keep on going for, you have a diarrhea. See how it? Prana, apana, samayukta. Balance. You go to a Ayurvedic clinic, every day they will come to ask you this most embarrassing question. How is your excretion? It's important. Nowadays people don't even have time for that. If you do not excrete the waste, if it is staying even for more than one day, it is putrefying inside. Therefore, do that by which your intake as well as your excretion is balanced. Ancient sciences, whether it's Chinese herbal medicine or even what to say, Ayurveda, and even in Western culture, they would give castor oil to drink. Is it not? Your medicine, and particularly, and this is not an exaggeration or show off, in every culture, every society, every country, your kitchen is your medicinal clinic. Yeah? Most of your medicines are in your kitchen. And India being so rich with its agriculture, spices, different variety of climates, therefore all the spices that we have, all the herbs that we have, and I can't go into now the science of Ayurveda, but now you take any vitamin herb, ashwagandha, turmeric, but don't go on drinking golden latte. Latte milega tujhe. Unfortunately, this linear thinking of good, what is good, go on having more and more and more. No. Neither our Sanskrit language is a limited language as we have made it today. Neither our medicine sciences are limited. The beauty is each root of Sanskrit has got so many facets. Same way, in our medical science, even turmeric, I'm sure you must have heard your grandmother, when taken with hot milk, it has got a different property. When taken raw, it has got a different property. Raw ginger will create acidity. Dry ginger will reduce your acidity. I'm just giving a little bit so you don't think that I'm just shooting out of my head. You know what? I'm taking turmeric, pure curcumin capsules. And when grandmother told our own children, "Gee, I don't want to drink that, but I will go to so and so bucks to spend bucks and take golden latte." Somewhere mixed with milk, somewhere mixed with honey, somewhere raw, somewhere powdered. It has different properties. That's why your food. Today in fine dining, if you ask any master chef, they either went to Thailand, they went to India. Today, basically, you will find it in the Kerala Sadhya. The color, the different tastes, the 6 tastes, the quantity, the order in which it is served. All this is a science, culinary science that was there in our India. And what we are following now is not our. I was really surprised. If you see, we say South India eats the best of diet. We say, because of all the grains, rice is considered to be the easiest digestible grain. For protein, dal is there. But for convenience today, they are only eating rice and sambar. What has happened to the various vegetables that the grandmothers would just go and pluck some leaves and make those greens along with it. I was asking the Ayurvedic doctor that why is it that diabetes all over India, and they will say genetically and all that. Today also I have seen people changing their diet in 3 months, diabetes disappeared. There are different types of diabetes, but the most of the diabetes that people claim to have is only diet oriented, lifestyle oriented. That's why now all the apps are sleep apps and walking apps. What is it? 10,000 steps is not for everybody. You find out what is optimum for you. So how much should you eat? First thing, a standard is given. That half your stomach should be full. Of course, you're not going to measure your stomach. Half your stomach, when you eat, which should be with solid, quarter should be filled with liquids, such as soup, or liquid doesn't mean over drinking water during you eat. And that's also wrong, drinking these cold drinks. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. Why you have this? Because such a big glass of cold drink, full with ice, you take with heavy meat, that also sugar. Do you know what we are doing to our digestion? Sugar gets digested in alkaline medium. Therefore, when you eat sugar, it switches off your acid, whether it's refined carbohydrates or sugar. It switches off your acids in the stomach where only your proteins are digested. Therefore, high proteins like animal proteins and refined sugar as in white flour. Do you know what your hamburger and pizzas are doing? And then taken with what? Cold iced drinks. You need heat in your stomach to digest the food, particularly proteins. And proteins undigested is what causes your allergies, your autoimmune diseases, for which then you take steroids. See, this is just a simple formula I am giving of food. We don't even have the knowledge that we require heat. That's why when people have that cramps and all that, why do they put in their stomach? Their hot bag or something like that. If you got indigestion, and then immediately you can feel the gas coming out. Don't cut off all fat. When you're sick, you may have to. And which fat is good? Now the whole world is turning. For 30 years they've spoiled our health by telling us, eat these refined fat, good for your heart. They are the ones that cause the heart disease. Go and see on all clinical trials. And which is the best oil today? Now every cosmetic, coconut oil. Yeah. Shampoo, coconut oil. What were the Keralites doing? And what I am telling you is our well-tested ethnic diets. But I am telling you, in the last 100 years, we have not had it. So therefore, we may think that we are eating, one of the best foods like idli sambar. It's a good food. But how much we eat, when we eat, and how we are eating today. If your idli dough is made even 2 days, it is bad for your health. What refrigerators has caused us, what microwaves have caused us. I'm not one of those material evangelist kind of people, not religious, but I was finding out also why today wheat, gluten. Everybody's going on gluten. For centuries we eaten wheat. What gluten? You put anything in your mind, tomorrow I will show. What you put in your mind then reflects on your body. Yes, there are people who are gluten allergic. Your rotis, if they are kneaded 15 minutes before, like it used to be, and after that you make your chapati, the gluten is not fermented and those harmful proteins are not there. But your bread that is kept for I don't know how many centuries in your fast food shop, an idli dough for 1 month kept in the fridge. And if you can't make idli, make dosa. That's why I asked the doctor, I said, why? And one of the things is that even yogurt, which is kapha producing, should not be taken at night. This was told to us childhood from our grandmothers. Don't eat this at night, don't eat that at night. Today in Ayurveda we study that, and now when they go on doing the testing or when Ayurveda becomes popular, they will tell you not to do it. So, what also we should eat and what we should be careful. our food is not bad, but when and how we eat. Therefore, your eating period should be only during sunlight. Because that's when the fire in your stomach is burning. Now they will tell you, oh, the sugar doesn't get digested and then there is a sugar high spike and all that. That's also one of the methods of knowing it. The same thing is told in a different language. And therefore, till electricity was not there, everything was packed up before sunset. And your sleeping hours also should be only, now so there's melatonin, no? Do you know how many lights are in a room when you have outside street lights? Then you have the bedroom light, and then you have the internet light, then you have the TV light. The whole room is quite lit up. Now you can't even go to the bathroom because you are very afraid if the light is not. To sleep when the sun has gone down and to wake up before the sun, that even in childhood in school. What? Early to bed, early to rise makes man and woman. Healthy, wealthy and wise. Are they not there in every... I know you are all Angrez, no? But Angrezi mein to hai. Indian you are ashamed to accept. But in English also it is there. Eat during the sun period. Therefore, eat early so that, again, you don't have to then go on a diet for intermittent fasting. You eat at 6 in the evening, go to bed early. If you don't get to bed early, there's less sugar in your brain, you can't go to sleep, so you will binge something. And that binge stays. Not proper food, not proper sleep. Not proper sleep, no proper exercise. And exercise, I'm not just talking about going to the gym. But if we were to do, today, most of our work is behind the computer. No? That's why we need to go. And the best exercise is going out in nature. And I would say without any gadgets. People go to the spa to the CD playing on birds, and water, to get acupressure, walk barefoot a little bit on not tarred roads, cement roads, on the grass. Not only the magnetic field of the earth will help you to balance whatever imbalance. See, imbalances will happen. As best as we take care of our diet, our sleep, there's so many things that causes the imbalance. But nature has provided us so many natural balances. If only we live it naturally. If you just did your housework, you got all the exercises to tone up all your muscles. Today we are criticizing the Indian housewife and all that. Not that a woman should stay only in the house, that's not my saying. But you look at how healthy. Even now you go to some of these village areas, look at those women, I tell you, what you say, women victims and all that. Oh, hey, chata mare, the man will go flying, but he's only drinking. You look at them, even if you are in the places, sometimes I go in the car, I'm just looking at them, an old woman of 70. When she's walking, look at her gait. If if we live a natural life, and today we don't like to do gardening, we don't like to do homework, that chili, that is outdated. Simple work we do, our own work we do. If not, at least simple walk. And therefore we had yoga asanas. Now don't take yoga as a fad, please. Nor it is only for health. These are natural postures and muscles that we should be using while sitting, while getting up, etc. Otherwise, most of our pains are because of all our postures going wrong, etc. I still don't understand why Indians, or I don't say others also maybe, I can only talk for ourselves, no? Computer is on the side like this. Why don't you get a proper desk and put it in front? You have to work on the computer. Therefore, our posture, this is called as asana. Even our posture when we sit, when we walk, when we get up, these few things, if we can train ourselves into, there are some modern courses based on these asanas. Even how you get up and sit up from the chair, and they can cure many diseases. Yukta ahara vihara. So when to eat, how much to eat. Half with solids, water. In fact, even grains, it was clearly said, as much as we only tell. Now, of course, you can measure calories. They're telling you, this much calories, that much calories. You can probably take a machine, measure the calories. Every box has got calories, which is very often. But simple nature has given. Your fist and your heart is of the same size. Eat on how much you can carry in your one fist. Uncooked, no? Grains. That is the size. If you are small in stature, your hand will also be small. They are small, but the hands are big and they can eat a lot also. Observe it. I'm just giving you natural methods. Otherwise, there's a whole science which I've been hinting in between also, so that what we eat also. Tomorrow, I will be speaking on mental health. And with that also, physical health and even the type of food that affects our mind will be discussed because they are interlinked. And how it relates to our spiritual health. So that will be the theme tomorrow. And I request all of you to as many people you can say, especially our youngsters. And today, from universities to other places, people are begging of us, particularly in this country, that mental health of children has deteriorated so much. Why? One is food. Not only physical, as I hinted, that even what we consume. So much our sciences, we say, have developed, and they have. But how much has our mind deteriorated? Like 6-year-old children have got depression. And don't think that it's not started affecting Indian homes. It's a wake-up call. Let us take all measures to help the society with its mental well-being. It's a fancy name today, but that is what our Bal Vihars, Yuva Kendras, study groups. What is our satsangs doing? It is meant first for mental health. Only when there is physical, mental health, especially mental health, then spiritual health is possible. I brought out a CD, and then of course it's available as a pen drive, and book Journey into Health. Please acquire, I don't know if it is there in stock here, but online you can get it. It's a very small summary of all this. And there also said how even cancer can be cured. And all this, where did I learn from? Yes, all nice things that are available even in modern society. But how the formula is given in our ancient books of knowledge. And if we dwell into them and we live our life according to what they guide us, in our natural condition, in our natural state, understanding our swabhava and nature, and our link with nature, there is a lot that we can achieve within a shot. So good health, there are of course certain things that require medical attention, because deterioration has become so much. I will never say no. But visit a doctor and get a holistic approach. Not that give me a pill, don't tell me to diet. Even dieting, we have to understand each body type is different. There is a general diet plan. So take charge of your life and see how, and tomorrow I will show you the link, how it affects our mind also.